Hey guys, my name is Lilly and today I want to bring you the news from the situation in Europe in October 2023. So first I would like to start with the economy and with the people suffering from inflation and everything getting more expensive. So here you can see an article about a mom not being able to buy a bottle of vegetables oil because it's too expensive. So especially for single moms with children, in this case, this mother has 3 children. She's somehow surviving on her own, having 3 kids and then working part-time. She cannot afford a big bottle of oil. So now we have 350,000 kids, children and teenagers who are at risk of poverty. And also right now the inflation is increasing again, so now we have 7.5% again in Austria, which is the highest in Western Europe. Great. Oh my God. So for example, oranges are 30% more expensive, carrots are 23% more expensive, and bananas are 17% more expensive. Then we have the prices of potatoes. It's a plus of 25%. Rice has gotten more expensive by 18%, fish by 15%, and flour by 14%. So my plan is that I'm going to plant more potatoes next year in springtime. I have a small veggie garden in my yard and I want to plant potatoes because they are actually producing the most calories if you compare to any other crop. So if you want to prepare for bad times, then potatoes are your best bet. They don't need a lot of, attendance. You just water them one time and then the rain will do the rest. And also, the one thing that you need is manure of some kind. So it needs a lot of compost to get potatoes growing because they draw a lot of nutrients from the ground. That's the only thing that you need. But other than that, they are really easy to grow. You can even cover them with some straw. And that's my plan for next year. I'm going to dedicate an entire raised bed to potatoes. The next, water has gotten more expensive by 20%. And that's bottled water. Now we are seriously considering not buying bottled water anymore because they now make the bottles from recycled plastic. And new studies have shown that this recycled plastic is even worse for your health because it's releasing even more microplastics into your body and more chemicals into your body than the old bottles that they have produced. And also the newer bottles, they feel a little bit more flimsy and more weak. So it's really a second quality plastic and I don't want to drink from that anymore. So I think that we are going to invest in another water filter again. I'm just not quite sure what water filter I should use. I've tried a couple and with some they don't taste good. So maybe I bust out my Berkey water filter again. I don't know. So I have to think about it. Okay, the next article is that medication is very scarce. So without Asia, the shelves of pharmacies would be empty. So here it says that 70 to 80% of our medication are coming from China and India. So now politicians are talking about reopening up one of the facilities in Austria so they can produce medication right in Austria. But they have to invest 50 million euros to make this work. So right now this is just talking and I won't believe it until I see it. It will take years to get this going and years until we can produce the majority of our own medication. So I will believe it when I see it. Okay, so here you can see that right now 510 medications are not available and not deliverable. Now finally here it says that experts are saying that people should start hoarding medication. It really says that, look at that. Hamstern. So I'm surprised to read that because if you advise people to hoard medication, then usually the shortage will become worse. But yeah, it makes sense. You want to have medication at home, so you have it when you need it. So experts are advising people to get all kinds of medication and store it at home in case you need them. And the reason is that children and adults are now getting sick more often, and here it says that's because of the corona prevention measures has made our immune system a little bit more weak. So now we get sick more often. Okay, the next, gas and diesel is going to become more expensive again. So now about a year ago, politicians have introduced the CO2 tax on gas and diesel. And now the CO2 tax is becoming even more expensive. So now with the next year, starting with 2024, the CO2 tax is becoming more expensive. So now it will cost 45 euros per ton of CO2 emissions. Yeah, and this is unfortunately what governments do if they introduce a new tax. So first they introduce the tax, but they make the price of the tax lower, so a lower percentage. But then later, a couple of months or years later, they will increase the same tax, and then people just accept it. And Austria is already a high tax country, so the average tax rate is 43% of your income, and that includes income tax, but also social welfare tax. And then you have to pay the CO2 tax, which is now 45 euros per ton of CO2. So as you can see, taxes are getting out of hand. So at the end of the day, it's not surprising that the middle class is suffering and that more people are getting poor and they fall out of the middle class. And now comes the worst thing of all. So there was a scandal in Austria, which was about a week ago. Right now the ÖVP is reigning Austria, and it's the Conservative Party of Austria, okay? And many people are complaining that they cannot feed their children warm meals anymore because everything is getting so expensive. And then our chancellor just said he doesn't understand this debate, because if you want to have a warm meal, then you can always go to McDonald's and get a burger for €1.40. And of course he also said that he knows it's not healthy, but you should stop complaining, and if you need more money, then you just should work more. And they really don't like women who work part-time, because with part-time, actually you're paying less of income tax. So here in Austria, we have a progressive income tax, and that means that the more you earn, the more you pay taxes. And if you only work part-time and earn less than 11,000 euros a year, then you pay no income tax and you only pay for health care and social welfare. So, of course, they don't like this, because a lot of tax money is lost with the people who are working in part-time. But how should single moms, work if it's not part-time? So it's not possible. They have to work when the children are in school, and then when the children come home, they have to look after the children. So they rather want mothers to work the entire day and to give the children into school the whole day. I think that's their goal. So they really don't like people who are in the part-time model. And this is why he was also hitting on those women who are working part-time. So then after this, there was a huge outcry of the population, and he was criticized from left to right in Austria. And also people were saying, hey, you're earning 20,000 euros a month. You don't even know how it's like to be in the lower middle class, or if you are poor. The ÖVP was once a party which was voted for by farmers especially, but also by the common people. And it's called Volkspartei, which means the party of the people. But now it seems that this party is, more and more for industry and for rich people. and it's not so much for the common people anymore. So many other parties, they were demanding an apology from our chancellor, but he said no, he's not going to apologize. And this is what we are dealing with. So it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. It's just politicians, some of them, they are just living, I don't know, on the moon or something. They have no idea what's going on. And they just say, hey, go to McDonald's if you can afford a warm meal for your kid. So for me, it's really sad to see what's becoming out of my country. So once we were a really healthy and wealthy country with a really good social system, with a really good medical system, and people, you know, they could go out and go to the cinemas, to restaurants, and food was cheap, labor was cheap, but also materials were cheap. So people back in the day, they could build a house with very little debts. Some, I know, they have built a house with no debts. So when I was a child or teenager, I did not know anybody who was really poor. Everybody could afford property, whether it was a house or a flat. Now it's really different. Now I think we are becoming a second world country. It feels like this. And it's going little by little. So there are more people poor. Everything is getting more expensive. You cannot afford a house anymore. So now more people have to rent. So now the rent is getting more expensive. And if you're alone, like I know a really lovely woman, she's in pension and she now had to move out of a flat with a small garden, because she cannot pay the rent anymore because she's alone. Her husband died a few years back and now she has to leave her home. So I don't know about you guys, but the situation is more dire than 20 years ago, and it's really shocking to me, and it doesn't really seem to get better at any time soon. So here I got a few coupons, and I will go into the store now and get a few things using these coupons. And honestly, I don't know if I remember this correctly, but I think a few years ago I had 5 coupons on this leaflet, but now it's only 3 anymore. So my personal observation is that less and less stores are offering sales and you get less coupons now. So even shops and supermarkets are now saving money. Okay, so now I will go into the store and see what I can buy. I will probably buy 2 packs of toilet paper where I get 15% off, and then 1 food article. Let's see what I can get. Okay guys, so I just went into the store and was searching for toilet paper, and my favorite toilet paper was 25% off if you take 3 packs. So yeah, I was using this special sale, which is great. And then I also have used my 2 coupon codes for candles. So I went for the white candles because the white candles, they are actually not toxic, but any candle with color has toxins in it and it's not really healthy. So this is why I went to get the white candles. Yeah, and then I also got some bolete mushrooms, some frozen ones, and I used my minus 25% coupon code for it. And I really love bolete mushrooms. They cannot be commercially grown, so they must be from a wild harvest. So yeah, bolete mushrooms are great. They are really healthy and even have a lot of healing properties. Okay, I'm back in the kitchen and now I want to show you how you can make this really delicious soup. So here we have 2 handfuls of bolete mushroom, and here we have a couple of dices with potatoes. And now we just add this to the soup. Okay, next you want to add some caraway. And then a good pinch of salt. Okay, and now you want to cook this for 45 minutes, and this is going to be the best soup that you've ever eaten, I promise. Okay, now I want to show you the healing properties of bolete mushrooms. So this is my book of healing when it comes to mushrooms. bolete mushroom. So first of all, this mushroom is antioxidative. It also prohibits the growth of tumors. It's good for your general health, anti-inflammatory. It helps with cramps, and if you have cramped up muscles, it helps with back pain and with bones, joints, and sinews. So altogether, I spent like 55 euros for this purchase, which is a little bit expensive. I probably would have spent less money a couple of years ago, but still with the coupons, it is much more affordable than without them. And purchasing stuff with coupons or with sales is the only way how you really can save on money right now. Yeah, and honestly, I have to admit that it was really difficult not to purchase something else because they really had some nice stuff there in the store. But yeah, me and my spouse, we have this special agreement, so we don't want to purchase anything new anymore unless we really need it. So we really want to save on money now, and we don't want to spend our money on things we don't need anymore. And a couple of years ago, I was different. I would spend like a few bucks on this or that, which is not necessary for daily life. And it's really hard to get this, to change this consumer behavior into a saving habit. So everything is so tempting, you know. You just want to purchase this and that, which is nice to have, but you don't really need it. And it's hard to change behavior, but once you are aware of this, you can change and you can save more money. And right now, it's really coupon codes and special sales that will help you saving money. Right, so this is it for today. I really want to thank you guys for watching. Stay healthy, stay vigilant, and stay tuned till next time.